As I stand here today, I'm brought back to the quiet nights when doubt whispered louder than hope. Those long nights staring at my laptop, deadlines piling up, asking myself, can I do this? Am I enough? I had big dreams, but I constantly wrestled with the thought that someone like me, an undocumented immigrant, a dreamer, wasn't supposed to be here. This fear only got stronger in college. I kept my head down and was just afraid to share too much about who I was. But something within me shifted because I had found something even stronger than this fear, a community that wouldn't let it consume me. My friends and professors at UTD saw potential in me long before I saw it in myself, and I thought the people that I looked up to believed in me, and perhaps I could believe in myself too. This new confidence gave me the courage to apply to the Archer Fellowship, which took me to Washington, D.C., an opportunity that transformed my life. While in D.C., I had the opportunity to intern at the Embassy of Mexico, where I studied U.S.-Mexico policy. After years of hiding my heritage, I wanted to embrace it fully. I remember my first day sitting in the lobby, looking at the 8 floors where I'd spend the next 5 months working, with my hands sweating, my heart pounding. And it wasn't just the nerves. It was the weight of everything that moment meant for me. I wasn't hiding anymore. I was walking into a place that represented everything I once thought I couldn't claim. Who would have thought a kid like that would one day be working for the ambassador, representing his country and his school with tremendous pride? I also had a second internship at a law firm that provided free legal services to unaccompanied migrant children, a role typically reserved for law students. My lived experience as a dreamer ignited a passion for me early on to learn as much as I could about immigration law and use it to support vulnerable communities. On paper, perhaps I wasn't the most qualified for a role like this, but in my heart, I knew I was ready. One day, I was asked to interpret for an 11-year-old boy seeking asylum in the United States. This was just a kid who survived a terrifying journey all by himself. And as I sat beside him translating, I stopped and realized I wasn't just a voice for him, I was a reflection. I looked like him, I spoke his language, and perhaps in that moment, I was the comfort I once needed. That moment wasn't just empowering, it was everything I'd ever hoped to do, to be who I needed when I was younger. These weren't just accomplishments, they were proof that someone like me belonged in the spaces I always saw as off limits. In many ways, I didn't fully see that for myself until somebody else put it into words. A dear friend once wrote a biography about me for a class project. Her words captured something I hadn't fully seen in myself, and they echo the message I want to leave you with today. Through our interview, I came to see the relationships that shaped Daniel into who he is. He's met people from many different walks of life, and it's clear he finds meaning in every relationship he builds. He's a mosaic, made up of children who turn friends into family, sisters who quietly admire their older brother, and people who've inspired him simply by chasing their own dreams. When I first read these words, I cried, not because of what I've done, but because someone saw the pieces of my life not as broken, but as beautiful. Everything I've achieved is because of this UTD community, a community that didn't just support me, but helped shape me. And that's what graduation is about. Not just what we've accomplished, but who we've become, and the ripple effect we've had on others along the way. So I want you to stop for a moment and think, who helped you when things felt heavy? Perhaps it was a kind word when you needed it the most. Perhaps somebody believed in you when you didn't want to believe in yourself. I know how much that matters because I grew up being that person, in the shadows, unsure if I belonged or whether I had a future at all. And yet, here I am. Because someone believed in me. Because small acts of kindness made space for me to dream. Now, as we leave UTD, I want to carry that forward. But today isn't just about me. It's about all of us. As I share my stories, I want you to think about your own dreams. The ones that kept you up at night, the ones that pulled you through exams, the ones that brought you here today. And I want you to make yourself a promise. Don't let them go. Because you may be more capable than you realize. And as you chase those dreams, remember, someone out there is watching. You might be given the permission to dream as well. So let's carry that spirit with us. Let's lift others the way we've been lifted. And let's bet on ourselves. and each other. Because when you believe in yourself and you put in the work, you don't just chase your dreams. You light the way for someone else to follow theirs. So go, dream big, and let your story serve as someone else's spark. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2025.
Yalla habibi.